So in this video we're going to be printing a job from start to finish on a Mimaki JFX200ex printer. So the first thing I need to do is ensure that my printer is on, which it is, and it's in local, ready to go. Then we need to identify our material, which I'm going to be printing on some 3mm Foamex material. Now with the material, I've made sure that it is flat and that the corners are not broken or damaged or sort of pointing upwards, and that we've got no bowing on our material as well, as obviously that won't help when we're printing. I've also put my pins in, as you can see, because this material is 3mm or higher. Now I want to put one more pin in, which I just want to put this one in here. So I'm going to get my pin, just going to screw it in. Just like that. Get my screwdriver and then just tighten that up. And that's going to give me that corner position to make it a lot easier to set up. There we go, so the board is now in on that side. It's now tight over this side as well. That's now set on the bed, ready to go. So next thing I need to do, one of the most important things, is I need to set my head height to make sure that it knows that it's 3mm material. So I'm going to go to my control panel, go to function, go down to head height, enter. Now I could either go into material thickness, press enter, and then I can just put in the thickness of my material if I'm happy with that. Or I can press end, come down and go to thickness check and go enter. Then it's saying work/layout pins, are they in place? Which they are in place, and our material is applicable for them, so that's brilliant. Press enter. That's now going to lift my head up. It's also going to turn the vacuum on as well, obviously to keep the material down. So the head's now rising. That's now going to come out onto my bed. So what we're looking to do is get this little laser pointer here on top of our material. Now, because this is nice and flat, it can go anywhere on my material. Now, if you do have a material that has some undulation, or it has a high point, low point that you're aware of, you can put that laser pointer over the top of the highest point. So it's saying thickness check start. So I'm going to use my arrow keys, press and hold my down arrow. That's going to bring the head towards me. Here it comes. I can then use my left arrow key, press and hold that. That's then going to bring the head out over the top of my material. Then I'm going to press my enter key. That's now going to move the head and the gap check pin to the position of that laser pointer. And you'll see just under there is the pin. There it is. That's now going to push that on top of the material. That's going to find our height for us. So on my screen, as you can see, thickness check is 3mm perfect. So I'm going to press enter. When I press enter, it's going to move the head at the height. So it's not going to lift up to move off. So if you have not got that right, if you're not happy with what it's just measured, press end and it will lift back up for you. It's now just reconfiguring itself. Now at this point I can turn my vacuum off. I can go up, I can go to media thickness, and if I wanted to, I could increase or decrease that value, but I'm happy with 3mm. So I'm going to press enter again, and then end, and that brings me back into my local screen. So the next thing I need to do is think about my origin position. So if I wanted to, I could press my down arrow, and I can actually set an origin, so I can tell it to start printing from there, or up here, whatever. Now I don't do that, I just set it up in Rasterlink and I can tell it where I want to print from there. So I'm just going to press end on that one. Then we're going to go over to Rasterlink. And in Rasterlink we're going to set up our job. So I'm going to go up to the top left where we've got File. I'm going to go to Open. Then I'm going to choose a file. Which I'll go for this one. Then we get this screen here. Now this is saying, are we using basically a preset? So there's the file name. This is the printer. So I've got two printers attached to this computer. So I want to go on the JFX. And the favorite I'm using is just my default JFX200. Now, if I had different favorites for different materials, you can select them in here. Press OK. That's then going to rip on that side. And I can then select my job. Now on the right hand side, I can start going through my settings. I normally like to go to general print first. There's my bed. So this is the full bed of the machine. And there's my artwork. I would normally then just go down to my print area down here. I've got some preset sizes. So I've got that sheet there is 1000 by 700. And you'll see that now my red box is around my job perfectly, because this job is actually 1000 by 700 exact. So that's now set up on the bed. I'm happy with that. I don't need to make any more changes. Then going to go to my quality setting. Now in quality, I'm going to make sure that I'm sort of happy with those. So yeah, PVC matte is absolutely fine. I'm not going to go 6 by 9. I'm going to go 600 by 600. And that's all set up nicely. Now it did come up with an error before saying that my job was a bit bigger arranged outside the print area. So all I'm going to do is I can either make my print area bigger, or I can just bring my job size down by one click and that'll be fine. So I can go to my print tab. So for this, I'm just going to choose rip and print. So it's going to rip that data first, which is just processing the data, and then it's going to print it once it's finished that. So I'm going to press start. And then it's now going to rip the data here. And then it's getting ready for print. Now, as it gets ready for print, we're then going to get this message which says to check the position of the UV lamps before printing. So, my position of my UV lamps are here. I've got one on this side, one on this side. Now, I'm just doing colour only, so those positions are absolutely fine. But for different types of printing, you may need to move those lamps to help and aid with curing. So I'm going to say, yeah, I'm happy with that. Press OK. And that's going to send the job off. Now the printer at the moment isn't doing anything. Now the reason why it's not doing anything is because we are not in remote. Now you'll see on screen it says data remain, which means that the data has come to the printer, it's ready to go. Now if I didn't want to print this, I can press data clear and that will get rid of it. If I do, I'm going to press remote. So I'm going to turn my vacuum on. I'm going to press my remote button. Then it's going to start doing the temperature controls and get the printer ready for printing. Now you can put this in remote before you go over to your computer and set your job up, and then it will just start printing basically straight away. So it's now doing ink temperature controls. That's because it's the first time it's printed today. There we go, it's now coming forward to its origin position, and you'll see on the screen you get the information about your job as well. So 600 by 600, 8 pass, bi-directional. You'll also see that it was doing the ionizer because this machine is fitted with the option ionizer on the back as well. And it does a pass with the ionizer before it starts printing. And there we go, so now it's starting to print our job. And there we go. So that's now finished printing that file for me. As you can see, that's ready to go. So head's gone back over to there. Now I can go back into local if I press my remote key, but you'll notice if I press it too soon, it won't do anything at the moment. So it's just processing at the moment. It's just refilling the heads, sub-tanks. So now you can see it's gone back to local. I can turn my vacuum off and I can take my printed job off. So that's how we print a job from start to finish on our Mimaki JFX200 printer.